Every single day, you and I make this one fundamental assumption. Right from the moment you wake up to the very second you fall asleep, you carry this feeling of absolute certainty that you're a permanent, singular entity. You just believe that the you experiencing this exact moment is the exact same you who existed yesterday and the same you who's going to be around tomorrow. In this, we're actually going to confront that assumption head on. Like, what if that feeling of continuous existence is, well, nothing more than a brilliant evolutionary mirage? I want you to just take a second and picture a really vivid childhood memory. Seriously, think about it. Maybe you're riding a bike for the first time or sitting in a specific classroom. You can see the light, you can almost feel the air in the room, right? And you effortlessly think, yep, that was me. But now, really consider whether the person sitting here remembering and the child being remembered are even the same entity at all. You literally share 0 cells with that child. Every belief, every fear, your entire conscious awareness, it's all been completely overwritten over the years. So by what metric are you actually claiming that child as yourself? Let's dive right into part 1, the illusion of permanence. To figure this out, we really have to systematically dismantle this deeply intuitive, comforting feeling we have of a single, continuous self. Because we naturally operate under what feels like this undeniable truth, that we are solid objects moving through time. But consider the honestly chilling reality of reductionism. According to this view, a completely accurate description of the universe can be given without ever once claiming that persons actually exist. Under this lens, your existence consists merely of a brain, a body, and a fleeting series of physical and mental events. No underlying soul, no permanent core. You're simply a sequence of experiences happening inside a biological container. Wild, right? Moving on to part 2, the architect of the past. So if we don't have this permanent core, we usually fall back on our memories as the kind of glue that holds our identity together. We think, hey, my memories prove I persist. But the thing is, human memory is incredibly constructive. When you remember an event, you aren't pulling up a file from a hard drive. You are literally rebuilding it on the spot. And because of this, authenticity, meaning how closely a memory matches your subjective emotional experience, frequently completely overrides factual truth. You literally fabricate details just to make the memory feel right. And the crazy part is, you believe these fabrications with absolute certainty. We fall for our own fabrications because of this concept called autonesis. It's essentially literal mental time travel. It is that visceral, gut feeling of re-experiencing an event. But here's the catch. This cognitive trick totally masks the fact that you are actively generating the memory right now in the present moment. It gives you a completely false subjective certainty that the past is perfectly real and that it definitely happened to you. So memory doesn't just provide simple connections between discrete past and present moments. Instead, it acts as an author, building a coherent overall narrative. You don't retrieve memories just to access a factual past. You actively construct your past to summarize and condense who you think you are right now. Ultimately, your past is just a story you're constantly rewriting to justify the exact person you happen to be today. Which brings us to part 3, the stream and the observer. Now, if our past is merely a narrative construction, a sort of phantom written by the present, we really have to examine this fragmented stream of consciousness we're experiencing right now. We all naturally believe in something called the Cartesian theater. That's the idea that somewhere deep inside your brain, an inner you is sitting on a stage, eating popcorn, watching the movie of your senses. But the reality is much, much stranger. There is no centralized observer. The self is just a virtual byproduct, an illusion emerging from millions of interactive microprocesses furiously trying to unify reality all at once. You are not the observer in the theater. You're just the emergent effect of the whole shebang. Let's look at part 4, the continuity paradox. Okay, so if memory is just a fluid narrative and our present self is a virtual illusion, how on earth do we categorize the transition from one moment to the next? Imagine your life as a timeline of discrete stages. The you from 10 years ago, the you from yesterday, and the you from just 1 second ago are not actually the same object moving through time. Instead, they're distinct, separate entities basically running a psychological relay race. The person you were a decade ago is quite literally gone. They've merely handed the baton to the next stage of you. If that still feels a bit too abstract, let's consider the fission case. Imagine this. Your cerebrum is completely divided in half, and each perfectly functioning hemisphere is transplanted into a brand new identical body. Then, 2 conscious beings wake up. Both of them perfectly remember your childhood. Both have your exact personality, and both believe with absolutely unwavering certainty that they are you. The haunting problem here is simply the number two. Two distinct identities now exist simultaneously. But basic logic dictates that one person cannot literally be two people. If the person on the left and the person on the right are two totally different people, they can't both be you. It totally shatters the idea that the psychological continuity you rely on every single day to feel like yourself actually guarantees you're the same person over time. And this leads us to a really eerie conclusion. As the quote goes, if there is fission in your future, then there are two of you, so to speak, even now. Just think about that. You might currently be multiple, overlapping people whose paths just simply haven't forked yet. You sit there right now assuming you are a single mind, but honestly, you could just be a temporary convergence of future strangers. Finally, part 5, the ghost in the narrative. So what does this all mean for us? Well, when we strip away all the intuitive comforts of biology and our own ego, we kind of have to reconstruct the self entirely. Your memory relies on present imagination to fabricate a past. Your consciousness lacks a central observer, acting instead as just a swarm of data. That comforting permanence of identity completely dissolves. Human identity is not some fixed object you safely possess from birth to death. It's a fleeting, ephemeral process. Basically, a ghost in the machinery of the brain. A narrative you're just constantly telling yourself. The self is a story. And, like any story, it is entirely subject to revision, to embellishment, and to dramatic shifts in tone. We maintain this grand illusion of permanence, just so we can navigate the physical world. But beneath all that, we are continuously, relentlessly becoming someone totally new every single waking moment. In fact, the person who started watching this explainer just a few minutes ago is already separated from you right now by a massive gulf of new neural connections and altered perspectives. I want you to really consider this the very next time you look in the mirror. You look at your reflection and you naturally assume you know exactly who is looking back. But if the past is just a reconstructed dream and the present is an unanchored stream of emergent thoughts, is the self something you actually possess, or is it just a magnificent, fleeting illusion that you must constantly create second by second just to survive the heavy weight of reality?